Hey guys, welcome back. You want to know why I didn't marry my girlfriends? That's exactly what I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, I had basically two serious girlfriends before I got married. I had one serious girlfriend in high school, a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And then I had a serious girlfriend in college. That was maybe 2 years as well. But I didn't marry either one of them. At the time when I was dating them, I thought maybe they're the one somewhere in the dating period, thinking maybe. But I'll tell you exactly why I didn't. And it's the same thing for both girlfriends, why I did not wind up with them. It was something that happened that turned me off so harshly that there was no way I could progress forward. And even though both of them ended, and both relationships ended, I think I ended both of them. Luckily, the first one I was headed off to college, so that was a pretty easy break. The next one I was graduating college, so that was kind of an easy break. But this thing that happened in both cases is what sealed the deal for me that they were not the ones. Now, I'm not speaking from a father thinking about my daughters. I talk about my daughters a lot and some of the things that I poured into their lives as they were growing up, and I share some of that with you. I'm not talking about it from me as a dad into them as daughters and what they're dating. I'm telling you this from firsthand experience for me and my girlfriends when I was in my teens and 20s. So, what was it that happened that turned me off so badly? I'll tell you. With my first girlfriend in high school, man, we hit it off. Pretty girl, great personality, super funny. We clicked in every single way, and I thought, man, this is it. This is what love is. And yeah, I fell in love. But when I met her parents, and I saw how she acted around her parents, how she treated her parents. It was such a major turnoff. And maybe, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, a Christian thing, or a Southern thing, but I respect my parents. My mom, my dad, even though they're divorced, my dad pretty much wasn't in my life a lot. Whenever I'm with my mom, whenever I'm with my dad, I treat them with respect. And I'm so used to doing that and so used to seeing that and being around that and valuing that. So to see the opposite of that, where it's smart mouth and sarcasm and just kind of bratty, this whole entitled brattiness around and the talking back and the tone that she had with her parents was just shocking to me. I had never, even my friends, my guy friends, when I would be around them with their parents, none of them treated their parents like this. To see that was such an eye opener for me, to see her in such a different light. That when we were one on one or with our friends, everything was great. But if I was ever around her with her parents, it was very uncomfortable because she was just that bratty type that gave her parents a very hard time. Oftentimes, when I was with them, I would apologize to her parents when she wasn't around. Like, hey, maybe she's just having a bad day. I'm sorry. And I found myself in that position a lot where I was apologizing to them for how she was acting. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Then later on in college, I met another girl, same thing, pretty great personality, super funny. We clicked, we got along, shared friends together. Everything was just cruising, clicking. Maybe she's the one, right? Maybe she's the one. Then, guess what? I go home with her and meet her parents, and the devil comes out. She starts showing her tail. The same thing, attitude, talking back, raising her voice, being a brat. It was like she was a 4 year old brat. And it was very hard to watch and very eye opening, very shocking, and very disappointing because here I am falling in love for the second and only time in my life, and then I see that. And it was just such a major turnoff to see her act like that. Once again, I find myself apologizing to the parents. So sorry, maybe she's having a bad day. And I felt that deja vu. I felt those red flags starting to click like, dude, you shouldn't be in this position. You should not be in a position apologizing to your girlfriend's parents for how she acts. She's the one that needs to be apologizing. So that helped me slowly see her for who she really was. Because guess what? When you date somebody, whether you're dating a guy, whether you're dating a girl, and you see them around their parents, that's the longest relationship they've ever had. So if it's a healthy, strong, respectful relationship, long term, this person could really be somebody. But if it's not, and it's what I encountered with the girls that I was dating, the one in high school, the one in college, that's a red flag. You need to not find yourself in a position to where you're apologizing to the parents and you're uncomfortable and you're stuck in this weird spot. You need to run. You need to start figuring out, how do I get out of this relationship? Because if they can't handle that, the longest relationship that they've ever had in their life, if they can't handle that, they're not going to handle the one with you. So that is a telltale sign that you need to be getting out. Now, later on, after college, when I started my career, moved from Georgia to North Carolina for a little bit, met my current wife. When we started dating, and here I am falling in love again, I was thinking, I wonder what she's like around her parents. Now, her parents were divorced. She lived with her mom just like I did. She was raised by a single mom, so we had that in common. But when she was around her mom, she valued her. They laughed. They had fun. They were like sisters more than a mother-daughter. They were just buddy-buddy. They were best friends in life. So it was so heartwarming for me to see that, to see her interaction with her family. And then there was, in a brief amount of time that we actually dated before we got married, she was telling me, hey, can you pray for my granddad? And I was like, yeah, what's going on? She said, well, me and mom and my grandmother was with him the other day, and he just wasn't feeling good. He's in the bed. I don't know if he had the flu or what was going on. But she said, we knelt by his bed and we prayed for him, and, just that he would get better and start feeling well, and that God would intervene and heal him. And just to hear that her mom, her grandma, were praying on their knees by the bed of their granddad, that was, to me, was like, this might be the girl, because she respects her family, she prays with her family, she loves her family. And that was definitely one of the check marks on my list for who I was going to marry one day, is that respect for family, praying with family, having that strong bond, not only with their mom, their dad, their siblings, their grandparents. That was just such a heartwarming thing to be able to see that. And I wanted that in my life, and I know she wanted it in her life. So we gave that to each other, and when we realized how much that meant to us equally, that was just another thing that reassured us that we were probably meant to be with each other. Now, in the Bible, it does say to respect your parents. That is one thing that was powerful enough or meaningful enough to God that he's got it in his written word, to respect your parents. Now, okay, here we go. Let's take this road. What if your parents suck? And that is the case sometimes, but that doesn't mean you gotta suck. You could still respect them. You could figure out what that healthy relationship is that you can manage, even if it's minute. Even if the healthiest thing is for you to get away from them. Okay, you've made a mature decision if that's what you need to do. So, there are parents that just aren't worthy of being respected. That's the right way to say that. They're not worthy of have this wonderful relationship with. Not worthy is probably not the right thing to say. It's not that they're not worthy. It's that they're buttheads, right? There are some parents that are just buttheads, and it's very tough to be able to have that strong relationship. But you'll see that in your partner, whoever you're dating, whether it be a guy or a girl, you'll see which one's the sick one. Is it your boyfriend, girlfriend that's the sick one, the butthead, the brat, or is it the parents? And if it's the parents, okay, you see how they adjust with that, because going through life, you're going to have relationships with people who are great, who are loving, who are worth being respected, and you're going to have relationships with people that just aren't. Sometimes that's your boss. Sometimes it's your parents. Sometimes it's your mom or your dad. But how are you going to act when they do that? Are you going to be respectful and be healthy to where you know exactly how much you can be around them before it gets unhealthy or dangerous or in a bad spot where it's just going to be ugly? Watch whoever you're dating and see that interaction. See who it is at fault. Here's another thing. If none of this makes sense to you at all, maybe you're the problem. Maybe you don't have a great relationship with your parents. Maybe you're the brat. Ooh. Maybe you're the one that needs to respect them. Maybe that's why you can't keep a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe when they're with you and then you get around your parents and then shortly thereafter you break up and you wonder what happened. Maybe it's how you interact with your parents or other people in your life, the close relationships. Because anybody worth being with is going to know that and see that and want that. And if they see the opposite, they're going to start looking for their exit signs to be able to get out and move on. And then you're going to be stuck wondering what the heck happened. So maybe this video is for you to be careful around the person you're dating and how they act with their parents. Or maybe it's around you and how you act with your parents. Either way, I hope you got something out of this. I know this is a short little punchy video, but I was thinking about it the other day, just, how I wound up with my wife and the many, many, many reasons, because, my youngest daughter just got married. She just had her wedding. Now all three of my daughters are married. And you start revisiting those things. You start looking at your wife and it's like, renew the vows and kind of thing, and assuring yourself why I married the right one and how I saw all three of my girls marry the right one. And each one of them have great relationships with their parents, very respectful relationships with their parents. So good stuff. But you start questioning that. So this week, the wedding week, because it was last Saturday that she got married, I started looking at that and I was wondering back, just thinking and reflecting, what was it that helped me get out of my high school relationship and helped me get out of my college relationship? And those were some of the most significant events in helping me realize that they were not the right one. And it was the way they treated their parents. So no matter what it is, if you're looking at your boyfriend, girlfriend and watching that relationship, or if you're looking at your own relationship with your parents, respect your parents. Figure out what that looks like. Figure out how to love them as much as they can be loved. Figure out the good things that you can hang on to and not the bad. You probably know a little bit about my story, that I was raised by a single mom. I look for the good in my dad. He cheated on my mom when I was in the 3rd or 4th grade. They divorced and I didn't really have a dad growing up at all. But I chose to look for the good things in him so that I could maintain some kind of relationship with him through our lives. And I have done that. And that's because I respect him as my dad. And I hang on to what he can give rather than what he can't give. And I choose not to be a brat or talk back, raise my voice, be disrespectful, even though he might be so deserving of it at times. I choose not to do that. You can choose not to do that too. Have a fantastic day. I hope this meant something to you. Thank you so much for being here. I got some more cool wedding videos that I'm going to be showing in the next coming days. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, I would certainly appreciate it if you do so right now. Click that button. Thanks for being here. See you next time.